ब्रह्मचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश धारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा जय Srila Prabhupada. So we'll continue with verse 10 of teachings of Queen Kunti, another very beautiful verse. नमो किञ्चन वित्ताय निवृत्त गुणवृत्तये आत्मरामाय शान्ताय कैवल्यपतये नमः. My obeisances are unto you, who are the property of the materially impoverished. You have nothing to do with the actions and reactions of the material modes of nature. You are self-satisfied, and therefore you are the most gentle and are master of the monism. Okay, so we'll continue reading of the purport from this section, and then we'll do the discussion. Anyone wants to read?
Hare Krishna Mataji, can I read?
Yes, sure, Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna Danda Pranam. Jai Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada ki jai. Any activities that are spiritual are all good, and any activities that are material are all bad. This is the difference between spiritual and material. The so-called morality and goodness of this material world is all bad, but in the spiritual world, even so-called immorality is good. This we must understand. For example, to dance with the wives of others at the dead of night is immoral, at least according to the Vedic civilization. Even today in India, a young woman will never be allowed to go to a young man at the dead of night to dance with him. But we shall find in Srimad Bhagavatam that as soon as all the gopis, the young cowherd girls of Vrindavana, heard Krishna's flute, they immediately came to dance with him. Now, according to material conceptions, this is immoral. But from the spiritual point of view, this is in accord with the greatest morality. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore said, Ramya Kachit Upasana Vrijavadu Vargena Ya Kalpita. Oh, there is no better mode of worship than that which was conceived by the Vrajavadus, the damsels of Vrindavana. After Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted the renounced order of life, he very strictly avoided association with women. Even in his family life, he never played any jokes with women. He was very humorous, but only with men, not with women. Once he spoke some joking words with his wife Vishnupriya. When Sachi Mata, Lord Chaitanya's mother, was searching for something, he jokingly said, Maybe your daughter in law has taken it. But in his whole life, these are the only joking words we find in relation to women. He was very strict. After he accepted sannyasa, the renounced order, no women could even come near him to offer obeisances. Rather, they would offer obeisances from a distant place. Nonetheless, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Ramya Kachit Upasana Vrijavadu Vargena Ya Kalpita. There is no conception of worship better than that which was conceived by the damsels of Vrindavana. What was their conception? They wanted to love Krishna at any risk, and this is never immoral. Hare Krishna
Hare
Mataji, thank you.
Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. So here we are understanding the difference between a material conception and a spiritual conception. So the same activity, so-called, it may appear moral or good from the material viewpoint, but it may be spiritually wrong. Okay, because if it is not in relation to Krishna, then anything that we have in this material world, it's ultimately not serving its purpose, no? Because Krishna is Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. Everything is for the satisfaction of Krishna. Everything is actually meant for the satisfaction of Krishna. So if we are not using something for Krishna's satisfaction in the service of Krishna, then even though materially we may be doing something very moral, it is still of no use. So, for example, if we don't have the conception of serving the Lord, And we are just stuck up with this conception of, I am this body, I have to serve my family, I have to serve my country, I have to serve the people who are in my family, I have to look after this house, and this is it. Like some people say, na karma hi puja hai. No, karma can be puja if you're doing that karma for Krishna. But people misunderstand it and they think that, okay, as long as I am a morally good person, I'm not hurting anyone, I'm not doing anything wrong, then I'm the best. But no, if we are doing everything right as per the material standards and yet not offering the results to Krishna, then that means we are using Krishna's property for our sake. So it in turn it is immoral if we see it from the spiritual standpoint. On the other hand, we see the example of the gopis. If you see from the material standpoint, people may say that what they were doing was immoral. Like Prabhupada says that going in the middle of the night to meet another boy, this is immoral as per material standards, but it is the highest form of bhakti because what they were doing was out of pure love. It was not material lust, it was spiritual surrender to Krishna for the pleasure of Krishna. Okay, so there are many examples that we find in the scriptures that are glorifying the action of the gopis. Okay, and also there are examples where we understand that what appears apparently wrong or apparently immoral may not actually be so. It is just a difference of how we are viewing it. Okay, so for example, in Srimad Bhagavatam 10:33:29, Shukdev Goswami says that the status of powerful controllers is not harmed by any apparently audacious transgression of morality we may see in them, for they are just like fire which devours everything fed into it and remains unpolluted. So when we talk about great devotees, like for example the Krishna's Rasa Leela, it appears immoral to mundane people, but it is purely spiritual and it frees one from lust rather than creating lust. Similarly, the pastime where Krishna steals the clothes of the gopis. These things, people use these kind of pastimes, they quote these kind of pastimes very loosely, and which is actually a very big offense because we don't know why those pastimes are being enacted. There is a reason behind every pastime of the Lord. It's just the lack in our understanding of that pastime because of which we tend to misunderstand it. But that's why, Srila Prabhupada explains that all these pastimes, they come in the 10th canto. And one should read chronologically. One should not just jump into the Ras Leela and, those kind of 10th canto pastimes, not directly. Because if we don't have the understanding that is given in the first 9 cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam, we will surely misunderstand the 10th canto pastimes. So we have to understand that spiritual acts are all good, like Prabhupada is stating in the purport, even if they are materially condemned, but if they are performed for Krishna, they are all good. So Krishna's Ras Leela, to mundane people, it will appear immoral. But for spiritual people who understand why it is taking place, if one reads the Ras Leela with that correct consciousness, then it will actually free one from lust rather than create lust. And we have to understand all these pastimes, whether it is Rasalila or stealing of the gopis' garments, these pastimes are coming in Srimad Bhagavatam, which is spoken by Shukadev Goswami. Now, Shukadev Goswami, if we know the backstory, he was so detached that when he was walking in front of some young girls who were taking a bath, they did not feel shy in front of him because they knew that for him there is no difference between a male and a female. He was so renounced and he was so elevated. And these pastimes are being spoken to Maharaj Parikshit and in the assembly of great elevated sages. Vyasdev is there, Narad Muni is there. So this is not some material gathering of people who have just come to hear something for fun. These are all elevated, great personality, greatest personalities, greatest sages all over the universe had come to hear this narration of Srimad Bhagavatam. So whenever we hear these kind of misinterpretations now, at least to protect our faith, we should have this understanding. Because if we don't have the Shastric knowledge, then we may get swayed by, popular conceptions. People may start saying, oh, this is wrong, that is wrong. Like many things in Lord Ram's Leela. If we don't know why Agni Pariksha took place, if we don't know why Lord Ram banished Mother Sita to the forest, these things, people use them and say many negative things about Lord Ram, right? That he was not a good husband, and just for the sake, just because of some misunderstanding, just because of the opinion of one person, he banished Mother Sita. But there is a reason behind everything. And we have to have this confidence and this firm conviction that whatever the Lord is doing and his great devotees are doing is all completely right. Whether it appears, correct to my senses or not, it is absolutely perfect. Like one example I'll take, I mean, because there are so many examples, we cannot take all, but one example is where Lord Ram has met Sugriv ji, and then there is Sugriv Vali Vad, that is, I mean, Sugriv Vali Yuddha that is going to take place. And the plan is that Lord Ram will kill Vali because he has wronged Sugriv ji and taken the kingdom. So here, what is the popular story that we know, that when Sugriv ji and Vali are having the fight, then Lord Ram doesn't kill Vali on the first day, and he says that you both looked so similar that I could not understand who is who. So then he tells Lakshmanji that you please put a garland around Sugriv so I'll be able to differentiate. Now, this pastime, people may misunderstand. Oh, how can Lord Ram not know? How is he God and still he doesn't know? And then all, these kind of questions may come up. But when we go a little deep in the pastimes, we know that when Lord Ram and Lakshman ji come to meet Sugriv ji for the first time, Sugriv ji offers a seat to Ram ji, but he doesn't offer a seat to Lakshman ji. And then Hanuman ji sees this and he finds that this is not right. So then he offers a seat to Lakshman ji. So this is actually a mistake that Sugriv ji commits, because Lakshman ji is Guru Tattva. So how can you respect the Lord and not the Guru? So then that one day where Lord Ram lets Sugriv ji get a beating is kind of a punishment for Sugriv ji for not respecting Guru. And then what Lord Ram does is he tells Guru, that is Lakshman ji, to put a garland around Sugriv ji. That means to give mercy to Sugriv ji. And then Lord Ram, he knows everything. He knows who's Vali, he knows who's Sugriv. But that one day he let that happen. And then when he has now received the mercy of Guru, then Lord Ram protects him. So in this way, there is a reason for everything. Sometimes it may happen that we may not know all the reasons, but at least this much confidence we should have that if my Lord is doing this, if his pure devotees are doing this, there must be some reason. Even though I don't know it right now, I will find out, but that should not shake our confidence. Okay, in today's world of social media and WhatsApp, so many forwards keep coming, even about ISKCON and the money that comes in ISKCON. So many things will, we'll just cannot we cannot avoid all these things. It could be on Facebook, it could be on Instagram, it could be on our phones through WhatsApp. These kind of messages and misinterpretations can come from anywhere. But what is important is that we should have firm faith in our movement, in our Lord, and actions of His devotees, in our Srila Prabhupada, in our Guru Maharaj, so that our faith is not shaken. And whenever we come across something which apparently seems wrong to us, we are not able to understand, then we should seek guidance from devotees. So the point that we need to understand is that we should never doubt what the Lord is doing, or what his great devotees are doing. And we have to have this firm faith that there is a categorical difference between spiritual and material action. Like Krishna's butter stealing also, people use it so loosely. What is the problem in stealing? Even God steals now. But why is Krishna stealing butter? First of all, he's not actually stealing butter because everything belongs to him. Secondly, the gopis were making butter for Krishna. So this was their way of getting darshan of Krishna. And then them going complaining to Mother Yashoda, that was also just a way to do Krishna Katha. So just a few things if we know, we'll be able to surpass all these kind of misunderstandings, right? So we have to understand like Prabhupada is very clearly saying that any activities that are spiritual are all good and any activities that are material are all bad. This is the difference between spiritual and material. So now this example of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was such a strict sannyasi. He would not meet with any Matajis, like Prabhupada is mentioning here, that Matajis had to offer obeisances even from a distance. And even now in our ISKCON movement, Matajis don't touch the Guru Maharaj's feet also, lotus feet also, right? There is an etiquette that is maintained always. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that, he also glorifies the damsels of Vrindavan. So these are all things that should form our faith that what the gopis were doing, that is not immoral. Okay, it is never immoral. They wanted to love Krishna at any risk. No, for a woman we can understand, uh, to leave the family behind and not knowing whether the family will then accept me back or not, who will take care of me, who will be my shelter. If the gopis were able to do something like this for Krishna, this means their love for Krishna was so pure. They did not care for their own safety. It was just the service of Krishna, the pleasure of Krishna that was important for them. So, this whole pastime of the gopis with Lord Krishna, we should never discuss this loosely with anyone, especially the newcomers, because there's bound to be some misunderstanding. But whenever this whole pastime, whenever it is mentioned, we have to know that gopis are the utmost. Right? We know you must have heard this whole pastime of when Narad Muni is going from one devotee to another. First, a Brahmana, then a South Indian king, and then he goes through a lot of devotees, and one devotee is sending him to another devotee. He goes to Pandavas, then to Hanumanji, Prahlad Maharaj. Like this, he's going through all the devotees, right? Finally, to the Yadus, then Uddhavji, and Uddhavji, he sends Narad Muni to the gopis, right? So in this way, we can understand that the level of love of the gopis is actually beyond material conception, because that kind of we can say uh, love without any expectation, we cannot find it anywhere in this material world, right? So, this difference between material and spiritual, what is good, what is bad, it is all different in conception. When we are seeing something just from a material angle, the acts of great spiritual devotion may also appear immoral, but we have to understand that those acts are never immoral. Okay. Now let's read the next paragraph. Kripamai Mataji, Hare Krishna. You want to read, Mataji? Kripamai Sita Devi Dasi Mataji, Hari Bol. You have
Mataji,
raised
yes,
it.
Mataji.
Yes, yes,
Yes,
Mataji.
Mataji. Um, Hare Krishna. Am I audible, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, please read.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
That which is in relationship to Krishna can never be immoral. To give another example, Lord Krishna in his incarnation as Narasimhadev killed Hiranyakashipu, the father of Prahlada Maharaj. While Prahlada Maharaj stood nearby without protesting. Now is it moral? What would like who would like to see his own father being killed? Who would just stand there to protest? No one would approve. No one would approve of such behavior and say it is moral nonetheless. This actually happened. Not only that, but Prahlad Maharaj even made a garland to place upon the neck of the killer. My dear Lord Killer, he said, please take this garland. You have killed my father and you are very good. That this must be understood spiritually. If one's father being attacked, one cannot protest him and one must protest and cry for him help. But because Prahlad Maharaj's father was killed by Krishna in the form of Nrsimhadeva, Prahlad Maharaja prepared a garland for the killer. After his father was killed, Prahlada said to Nrsimhadeva, I cannot, now that my father has been killed, everyone is happy. Now please withdraw your angry mood. Uh, Shall I
Krishna.
continue, Mataji?
Let's discuss this, Mataji, then we'll continue. Thank you so
Thank you.
much, Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Thank you.
So now Prabhupada is explaining that that which is in relationship to Krishna can never be immoral. Immoral. So this example of Prahlad Maharaj, you all know the story very well. And yes, if we look apparently that oh his father is being killed and he's standing nearby without protesting, and then he's also making a garland and offering it to the Lord, but we have to know that what was the whole background. Otherwise, this whole pastime will appear very absurd. That how is it possible that a son is just standing there, not retaliating when his father is being killed? But we have to understand who the father is, what was he doing to the son, and then we know that oh, this pastime, this shows so much love that the Lord has for his devotees. You know, the whole outlook changes when we know the pastime. And the same thing, we'll start doubting the actions of Prahlad Maharaj if we don't know about Hiranyakashipu and about Lord Narsimhadev. But now, when we know that Narsimhadev is coming to protect Prahlad Maharaj, this whole pastime is so, so beautiful. And this shows so much love that the Lord has for his devotees. And for Krishna, we have to understand that the Lord is the supreme Lord. He is absolute good. He is beyond material morality. This thing we have to understand very clearly, that our concepts of material morality, we cannot impose that on Lord Krishna's actions. He is not answerable to anyone. Everything has been created by him. He is the Lord of all and he is supremely moral. We cannot question Lord Krishna's morality in any way. And after Hiranyakashipu is killed, Prahlad Maharaj is not lamenting. Instead, he calmly approaches Narsimhadev while others are terrified. Nobody is willing to, come in front of Narsimhadev because he's so angry. He's in such a ferocious mood. This whole avatar, he's so angry because his, one second, because his devotee Prahlad was because Prahlad Maharaj was being harmed in so many ways. So Lord Narsimhadev is actually very angry. Nobody has the courage to approach him. But, sorry. But Prahlad Maharaj, because for him, he is not seeing the external ferociousness of Narsimhadev. He is seeing the love that Narsimhadev has for him. And he knows that the end of his father was inevitable because what he was doing. He does not lament. He is very calm. And he knows that for the whole world, it is good that Narsimhadev has now killed Hiranyakashipu because what Hiranyakashipu depicted was just all kinds of negativity, all kinds of heinous behavior that he was doing. So, yes, and it's not that he was very cold towards his father. Initially, we see in his pastimes that he was trying to counsel his father. He was trying to tell good things to his father. He was trying to tell his father who is actually the Supreme Lord. And my father, my dear father, you are also getting energy from the same Lord. So he did try his best. But then he knows that Narsimhadev had to come, because it is mentioned that even a saint feels relief when a dangerous snake or a scorpion is killed, because the snake is poisonous. The snake represents something which is very, very important to remove, even in the path of our bhakti. Right? So that's the poison that the snake has, that is deadly. In the same way, there are different kind of mentality, different kinds of things which harm our bhakti, which kill our bhakti, which are like the poison. So we have to understand that Prahlad Maharaj is, after Narsimhadev kills Hiranyakashipu, Prahlad Maharaj prays that, my dear Lord, now that my father has been killed, everyone is happy. He is seeing the good of everyone. For everyone's welfare, it was important that Hiranyakashipu should die. And that is why he is glorifying the Lord. He is offering a garland to the Lord. He is offering prayers. He is not protesting, because he is praying for the welfare of all living beings. Actually, he is praying for the welfare of his father also. So he's not condemning the Lord, but he's praying to the Lord, and he asks the Lord to withdraw his anger. He requests Narsimhadev to pacify his anger for the benefit of the universe. So we have to understand that there are moments where our devotion has to transcend our material duty. Actually, in all circumstances, our devotion should transcend material duty. But in some circumstances, it will appear, it will appear incomprehensible. Like here, Prahlad Maharaj's behavior may seem incomprehensible to someone who doesn't really understand the exact emotion that he is feeling. Now, Prahlad Maharaj is a devotee, so he's not just thinking about his family and his father, but he's thinking about the welfare of all. And Prahlad Maharaj, he himself recites this very important, very famous shloka, right? Where he's teaching bhakti to Lord Vishnu, that this is the highest duty, even above family relationships. So this comes in the seventh canto, fifth chapter. These are verses 23 to 24. 23rd verse, I'm sure all of you know. It is Sri Prahlad Uvacha, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, Smaranam Pada Sevanam, Archanam Vandanam Dasyam, Sakyam Atmanivedanam. And the next verse is Iti Pumsharpita Vishnu Bhaktis Chenana Nava Kriyeta Bhagavati Atta Tan Manye Tita Muttamam, where he is telling that hearing and chanting about the transcendental holy name, form, qualities, paraphernalia, and pastimes of Lord Vishnu, remembering him, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, offering the Lord respectful worship with 16 types of paraphernalia, offering prayers to the Lord, becoming his servant, considering the Lord one's best friend, and surrendering everything unto him. So, in other words, serving the Lord with body, mind, and words. These nine processes are accepted as pure devotional service. Then he says that one who has dedicated his life to the service of Krishna through these nine methods should be understood to be the most learned person, for he has acquired complete knowledge. So, what is the ultimate duty of every living entity? That is to serve the Supreme Lord. So, Prahlad Maharaj, right from his childhood, he is showing by his own personal example that what is the most important thing. He is very respectful towards his father. He never answers in a rude way or in a disrespectful manner, but he always says the right thing. He doesn't compromise on the truth. And that we see in Srila Prabhupada also, right? Our dear Srila Prabhupada, he was meeting people all over the world. He was meeting historians, he was meeting professors, he was meeting scientists, he was meeting religious leaders, and he was never in this mode of trying to please them. So he never compromised on the truth. He made it in a very accessible form, but he never compromised on the principles, right? Like when he was told that, why don't you name your society International Society for God Consciousness? It is more secular. He said, no, Krishna is God. So it has to be International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So whether it was chanting, whether it was following the regulative principles, reading of scriptures, Prabhupada never compromised on those principles. And same we see Prahlad Maharaj is very respectful, but he's not compromising on the truth. So he knows that when his father is being killed, that was necessary for the welfare of everyone. So we understand that anything that is connected to Krishna is transcendental. We may not be able to understand because our senses are so faulty, our senses are extremely limited. So we cannot understand, but they are transcendental. And material morality cannot judge divine action, action of the Lord, action of his devotees. And Prahlad Maharaj's behavior is not heartless, it is spiritually perfect. And if we know that how much he tried to give good counsel to his father earlier, then we'll know that he had a lot of love and affection for his father. So it is not heartless, but he's thinking about the welfare of everyone. And the Lord here is killing a demon, even though he was a father. So his action, the Lord's action, is absolutely good. There is no fault in the Lord's action. Okay. Now, next paragraph. Shobha Mataji, you want to read?
Krishna
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranam Mataji.
Pranam. Hare Krishna.
The sadhu, a saintly person, never approves of killing, not even killing of an animal. But Prahlada Maharaja said, Modhet sadhur api rikshika sarpahatya. Even a saintly person is pleased when a scorpion or a snake is killed. A scorpion or a snake is also a living entity, and a sadhu is never satisfied when he sees another living entity killed. But Prahlada Maharaja said even a sadhu is pleased when a snake or a scorpion is killed. My father was just like a snake or a scorpion, and therefore now he has been killed. Everyone is happy. Hiranyakashipu was a very dangerous demon who gave trouble to devotees, and when such a demon is killed, even saintly persons are satisfied. Although ordinarily they never want anyone killed. Therefore, although it may appear that Lord Krishna or Prahlada Maharaja acted immorally, in fact, they acted in accord with the highest morality.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Mataji.
Mataji. Dandavats
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Pranam, Hare Krishna. So Prahlad Maharaj is saying that even a sadhu is pleased when a snake or a scorpion is killed. So this is what I was mentioning, that the snake is a very, very poisonous entity, right? So even a saintly person is happy when a snake is killed. So Hiranyakashipu was just like a snake because he was spreading poison everywhere, right? So Hiranyakashipu was a very dangerous demon. He was giving trouble to all the devotees. So when such a demon is killed, even saintly persons are satisfied, right? So anyway, I mean, in general, we know that a saintly person is not pleased when any living entity suffers, right? So they cannot be happy when anyone is killed, but even they are pleased when a scorpion or a snake is killed. So there is an incident with Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. So it is mentioned that throughout Srila Prabhupada's ISKCON, lectures and his various, conversations, he mentioned snakes on a number of occasions. And during a Srimad Bhagavatam lecture in Montreal in 1968, he explained that in 1933, he had been a new comer, as he puts it. I mean, and he was visiting his spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's ashram. So while he was present there, one of the other people in the ashram discovered a snake and they cried out, making a big fuss about it. And then Srila Prabhupada was surprised when Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur came out to the balcony and he said, kill it. So Prabhupada was very surprised that his Guru Maharaj gave such an instruction. Because up to that point, Srila Prabhupada said that he was under the impression or his understanding of the philosophy was that saintly people do not kill anything. And therefore, This instruction kind of shocked him. And then Prabhupada, shortly after this, he was reading this section of Srimad Bhagavatam where Prahlad Maharaj uh, he's comparing his father to a snake. And Prahlad Maharaj said that nobody is unhappy or displeased when a snake or a scorpion is killed because they are the most envious creatures. So, in other words, there was Shastric support for what Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur had instructed. So, no living entity, is like the snake because snake represents envy. And that is what I was mentioning earlier, that if envy or this kind of negative emotions are creeping in our bhakti now, that is also like a poisonous snake. It is very dangerous for our bhakti, and so it has to be killed, it has to be removed. So many things that our shastras are teaching us have practical application also. So just like we are told that all kinds of negative feelings also, whether it is greed, whether it is anger, these can in some way be used in bhakti. So, for example, we become angry on offenders or blasphemers of Lord and his devotees. We can become greedy for more bhakti, more hearing, more chanting. But envy is one quality, negative quality that has no place in bhakti. And the snake represents envy, so it has to be removed. But we know that non-violence is a core saintly quality, and a devotee is compassionate to all living entities. But the killing, killing, we know that it's never a sadhu's preference. And Prabhat Prahlad Maharaj is explaining that his father was violently inimical to the devotees, and he was a disturbance to the whole universe. So, in such cases, violence is required. So, Prabhupada explains in Srimad Bhagavatam also that violence performed by the Lord for protecting devotees is absolute good. It is not sinful. Many people actually misunderstand Bhagavad Gita also, that this is a book which is encouraging violence. It's a book which is encouraging war. But that's not true. Bhagavad Gita is a book which is establishing dharma. Bhagavad Gita is a book which is a manual for any living entity, for anyone who wants to live their life properly. Bhagavad Gita is teaching all those things. The war was the setting, but why was the war required? Because, like here, Hiranyakashipu had to be killed. In the same way, the Kauravas and the people supporting Kauravas had to be removed because things had escalated to such a position that war was unavoidable. Now, in today's times, also we see that there have been incidents where India, the Indian government has taken to violence, right? To kill militants, to kill all these people who are attacking India and attacking and killing so many people who have done nothing wrong. So many innocent people are being killed. And then the country has taken the stand that those militants, those militant groups, their bases, they have been removed. Some people think this is also violence, some people don't support this. But we can understand that in some cases, there is no other solution but violence. So, that is just a materialistic, gross example to help us understand that violence has its own place. So, any violence that Lord is performing, for protecting his devotees, that is absolutely good. The Lord appears to destroy the demons and protect his devotees, but both of his acts are equally righteous. Whether he's killing a demon or whether he's protecting his devotees, both are ways of the Lord showing his love. So the Lord's actions are never subject to material moral judgment. A sadhu never delights in killing, but the exception is the removal of a deadly threat. So we have the snake scorpion analogy here. So Hiranyakashipu's death was important because that was necessary to offer protection to devotees. So Prahlad Maharaj and Narsimha Dev, they are actually acting in the highest morality. It is not immoral in any way. Okay. Now let's read the next para. This is the last para for today. It's a short paragraph. Um, who would like to read? Prashanti Mataji, I think you had raised your hand first. You want to read,
Hare,
Mataji?
yeah, yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dale
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna.
Krishna is Akinchana Vitta, the only solace for one who has lost everything material. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Krishna says, if someone wants me but at the same time wants material prosperity, he is a fool. Krishna is so kind that if one wants material prosperity, sorry, Krishna makes a failure in the material life. Therefore, people are very much afraid of coming to Krishna consciousness. Oh, they think my material prosperity will be finished.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So, Akinchana Vitta, this is a very beautiful term. He is the only solace for one who has lost everything material. So, materially impoverished, right? So, uh, we have to understand that this whole concept of getting materially exhausted, this doesn't always have to mean that one has to become a pauper in materialistic terms. Right. If we see from Srila Prabhupada's example also, Prabhupada himself states that he was a very successful businessman. First, he was running a factory, then he had his own factory. And actually, when he was in Allahabad, I have heard in a lecture that there was a very special car at that time. Only the governor had it, and Srila Prabhupada had it in his Grihastha time. So he was doing very well. But then everything was, Prabhupada says that everything was taken away. His business collapsed and his material life also collapsed. But then later we see that when Prabhupada's ISKCON movement was flourishing, Prabhupada had everything, right? There were 108 temples even Prabhupada's time, and Prabhupada was traveling, in airplanes, and wherever he was going, devotees were arranging the best of the cars. So we see Prabhupada had both. He had the time of complete failure, and then in ISKCON he saw failure in the beginning, and then he saw a lot of comforts also. But the thing is that Prabhupada's consciousness, that didn't change. He was always devoted to Krishna, whether he had material opulences or not. He was using everything in Krishna's service. After meeting his Guru Maharaj, he wanted to earn a lot of money so that he could use it for propagation of Krishna consciousness. But what was his consciousness? He was always doing everything for the service of Krishna. There are also now devotees who are big businessmen. They are doing very well in their work, but they are using everything in Krishna's service. They are like, we can take the example of Amrish Maharaj, right? Amrish Das Prabhuji, not the Amrish Maharaj from Bhagavatam, but Amrish Das uh, Prabhuji. He's giving so much of his wealth for TOVP, right? So we can see that it doesn't always have to be that any devotee who comes to Krishna consciousness, they will become a pauper. No, it is just that there is the attachment goes away. So Amrish Prabhu, he has no attachment to his wealth, right? He's using everything in Krishna's service. Like that, there are so many devotees all over the world who are giving so much of their income. They're just keeping the bare minimum, donating everything to temple. There are devotees who are maintaining families and yet contributing so much for running the temples. So many wonderful grihasthas are there, right? And so we have to understand that the detachment goes, from a devotee's heart. They're not at all attached to material enjoyment or liberation. Because it is explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita that anyone who is desiring material enjoyment or liberation, they are restless. Only a pure devotee desiring Krishna alone is peaceful. So, Krishna knows what is suitable for each devotee. For some devotees, taking everything away may be good for their spiritual advancement. For some devotees, maybe having a level of prosperity is good because that is their path. So in all circumstances, we have to understand that Krishna, he knows what is best for each devotee. So Krishna himself says that if I specially favor someone, I gradually take away his material wealth. When he becomes poverty stricken, even his relatives reject him. So this also happens in the lives of some devotees. And then, but here also we have to understand that this is also the Lord's way of showing mercy. Sometimes some calamity comes in a life of a devotee where the devotee then understands that other than Krishna and devotees, there is nothing else in my life. So that kind of a push sometimes comes in the lives of devotees, but that only takes them closer to Krishna. It may not come in the lives of some other devotees because Krishna knows what is needed for them to come closer to him. But this feeling, whether we are materially prosper or not, this feeling of detachment from material enjoyment definitely has to come. Only then one is able to take shelter of Lord Krishna fully. So, this akinchan vittaya, Krishna is the wealth of the materially impoverished. Though this impoverishment, this poverty may not be in money terms, but it has to be there in our heart. When we understand that nothing is mine. There is no one who is my well wisher in this world except for Lord Krishna, except for his devotees, except for my Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada. Then, we are in that state when Krishna will actually become a Kinchan Vittaya. Because when we have reached that state, when we know Krishna is my only shelter, then we are in that materially impoverished state. So we have to move from the zone of mixed devotion because that will only bring us restlessness, where we want material things also and we want Krishna also. This is a very restless state. So sometimes people fear bhakti, they think that I will lose everything. But they are actually fearing that they will lose material shelter. But we have to understand that when one comes in the shelter of Lord Krishna, then there is nothing to fear. Krishna gives what is needed for each devotee. Like Mataji was discussing in a previous class also, na? The difference between our needs and our wants. Lord Krishna knows everything. Lord Krishna knows what we need. We may want a lot of things, but He will give us what we need. But for that, we have to be totally surrendered to Krishna and we have to reach that state of material impoverishment where we know that none of these things are actually going to, protect me. None of these things are actually right for me. We do all our duties, but that attachment for enjoyment from material things that has to be removed. So today's discussion, we understood through various examples that whatever the Lord does, whatever the Lord's devotees are doing, that is all good. We should never judge the Lord's actions or the actions of his devotees through our material lens. Okay, so we'll stop here. Any questions, any comments, anything you want to add? No? Okay, then thank you so much for your patient hearing. And we can keep meditating on how sweet the Lord is, how he is how he is a kinchana vittaya. Okay, and we'll meet again tomorrow's class again at 2 o'clock. Thank you all so much.
Thank you,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna,
Hare
Panchakalpatrubhyo
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna,
Vaiष्णava
Dandavat Pranam.
Sindhubhyo Patidanam Pavanebhyo
Pavanebhyo
Vaishnavibhyo
Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Ananda
Koti
Koti
Vaishnavi
Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai Shri
Shri
Radha
Maharani ki
Prabhupada
jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Guru
ki Jai.
Maharaj ki jai. Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare Bol,
Krishna.
Dhanvat Pranam. Thank you so much. Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Sadar
Thank you
Pranam.
so much. Hare Krishna.